Good morning. Today is the 23rd day of Chodesh Adar, the month of Adar Sheni, April 2nd, no joke. And in today's lesson, in illustrating the intent versus action. Yeah, I got it. In illustrating intent versus action of the mitzvah, again, we were talking yesterday about, and the last couple of days about, the mitzvah is the body, the kavana, the meditation and soul dedication is the soul. And obviously, Hamaisahu Aikir, we have to do the mitzvah. We still fulfill our mitzvah if you don't have intention, but we need intention in order to spice things up and to give it a little flavor and to give it purpose. Or I don't know if purpose is the right word, but we have to do the meditation as well, the kavana. And kavana alone is insufficient. So in illustrating the intent versus action component of the mitzvah, with the metaphor of soul versus body, we must understand that although body and soul stem from the divine origin and are both in this world, so our bodies come from Hashem, our neshama comes from Hashem, they're both in this world, and thus they share certain properties, including the concealment of their godly source. They are nonetheless very different in their degree of vitality. Because the soul is 100% godliness. It's a portion of Hashem. The body is being energized and vitalized through the nefesh hachayunis, the nefesh habahamis. Should be named echad shava, even though, in terms of concealment, in terms of godliness, God is in them both equally. V'chinas hester upon him, hidden, equally hidden in both. We don't see the soul. We don't feel the soul. It's a part of God, and so to the body. We don't see how the body's animated by godliness. The garments in which the light the garments in which the light hides, conceals, and clothes itself are identical both in the body and the soul. Why? For both body and soul are of this world, where even though the soul is a very spiritual thing, but while it gives your body life, it's here in this world, and it's in somewhat of an exile form. The light and life force issuing forth from the breath of God's mouth are equally concealed in the body and in the soul. How are they in this world? Through many concealments of the countenance and by the descent and life force level to level, contractions and screens and all sorts of ways to become hidden until they get to this world. Through various levels, in a chain-like succession of even through different worlds until they arrive here. Until they finally arrive in this world, and they are enclosed in klipas noiga, let's say something neutral, in order to give life to the totality of this material world. Okay, so they both go through all sorts of contractions, even though we know, based on chassidus that we learn, that the godly soul is never changing, always a part of God himself. Just sometimes there's more dirt, dust, more hiddenness than before. And the body is also a miracle of God. So too, everything we see around us. We're focusing today on the body and soul because we're giving them example, the mashal of the mitzvah and the kavana. Verstehst? But really, it's everything. It's this entire world needs God in order to make it exist. So the Alter Rebbe now distinguishes between permitted and forbidden objects. Because first he says, everything comes down into this world and clothes itself in klipas noiga. What does that mean? We're about to explain. The former receives the life force directly through klipas noiga. For the latter to receive the godly life force, clothed in klipas noiga, must first descend still further to be veiled in three completely impure klippas. What does that mean? This means that all things of this world that are permitted and pure, which receive their vitality directly from klipas noiga. Let's say, I was about to say an apple, but that's neutral still. What's something that's completely holy and pure? tzaddik.
Well, that receives from klipas noga.
No, yeah, klipas nega, but not shalosh klipas atmeis. Something that's holy and pure.
So
It's a good one because everything is neutral. It could be pulled. Like tefillin is holy and pure, but it didn't start like that, right? And esrog is also holy and pure, but it didn't start like that. While it's on the tree, it's just the fruit. So it's klipas noiga.
Certain communications that they can tzaddikim got
Tzaddikim.
that came from klipas noga. They understood which was Hafil and which was Ikar.
So let's see if he gives us an example. Right now we don't have one yet. We'll get there. This means all things of this world that are permitted and pure, which receive their vitality directly via klipas nega, and from and through klipas nega evolve. And then we have two mimen of al yada mushboim dvarim hatmeim hi bechinas memutzas kiniskalil. Number two, all impure, forbidden things which derive their vitality from the three impure klippas, yet their vitality too stems from noiga. So everything comes from this klippas noiga, where the godly divine light ultimately settles in a hidden way.
Use it to be for kodesh or for kol.
So pretty much everything I could think of off the bat is klippas noiga, and could be used. Many things could be used for holiness. But what comes down that is pure from the get-go? Maybe a child. Child is pure until they do an avera by Shiur, a tzaddik. So number two, all impure forbidden things which derive their vitality from the three impure clippers, yet their vitality too stems from the nega, since it is the intermediary level between the holiness where all life originates and the three impure clippers as mentioned above. So let's conclude. We can conclude from this that there is no difference between the life force of the neshama and that of the body in terms of revelation or concealment. Just like we don't see God in our hand and in our physical body, so we also don't see the neshama. Even though you're going to say, obviously, the neshama seems to be more spiritual on a higher level, but it's just as concealed in this world. But since both body and soul are of this world, the life force in them is equally concealed in the veil of klipas nega. You know what? The fact that we cannot come up with something that's automatically initially pure is exactly the point.
Yes.
That everything in this world, everything, the godliness is concealed, and we have to bring it out. We have to draw it out. So what does it mean? It's there initially. It might be initially, but we can't see that. So even the esrog that's there just so that we can do a mitzvah or the tefillin, it has to be elevated through our efforts. We have to do something about it. The only thing I can think of that comes into this world that's absolutely pure is the tzaddik. A tzaddik v'toivloi. Every generation has a few, and we don't know who they are. Some we do. But other than that, everything in this world is klipas nega that gives us an opportunity to elevate it because it is mutter, it's allowed. But until we utilize it for a mitzvah and until we say a bracha on it, it's still the godliness and spirituality and elevation, which is in full potential in that item, has yet to become revealed until we elevate it through a mitzvah and through a bracha. Nevertheless, the godly illumination, meaning the flow of vitality by which Hashem illumines, that's the word here, and gives life to all creatures of this world by way of this garment, meaning of klipas noiga, it's not the same for all of them. And the difference between the life force of the various creatures is in terms of contraction and expansion. In some creatures, the life force is constricted and limited, while in others, it finds broader expression. So we can even see in the creatures that Hashem created, when it comes to the animals, they can't say a bracha. When it comes to even certain people, they're limited in their ability to understand Torah knowledge and to be able to perform. I don't know if this is the best example with people. I don't know if that's what it was pointing to. It might be just different life creations. But we have an opportunity to grow and expand ourselves and the items and things that Hashem created around us to elevate and to reveal to a certain extent. I mean, we know, we sense that when we have a Torah and we get to hold it or kiss it, it's holy. But it didn't start off like that. It reached and found its holiness through our work, through our efforts, right? So the takeaway is the many types, quote unquote, of creation don't indicate many primary sources of energy, God forbid. There's only one God with many levels of contraction in his divine energy. Just because a rock doesn't move and doesn't speak doesn't mean there's less godliness in there than it is in an animal, a dog, which is so cute, which might have a bark mitzvah or whatever you want to call it, or a man that has an opportunity to put on tefillin and daven and connect to Hashem in a deeper way. We have an opportunity to elevate the things around us and to elevate ourselves and to reveal godliness in this world. But the godly energy is in everything equally, right? Because we have an opportunity to raise it up. And that's our mission, that's our job, and that's what we have to do. How do we do that? We're ultimately going to get back to how we started by doing the mitzvah with the body and the soul of the mitzvah, with the action and with the kavana. Good. That's it for today. We get some, by the way, I wanted to mention this, and I'll do this before I turn off the recording. There's certain parts of the Tanya, okay, there's a good inclination, an evil inclination, we fight against each other. There are concepts that are a little bit easier to understand. As we get deeper and deeper, further into the Tanya, and it's going to happen soon, that we're going to go into deeper esoteric discourses. What's the best way to put it? You know, different style of analysis of, and it's going to hopefully go full circle, which it will, but maybe a little bit more complicated to grasp. But that's okay, because number one, our neshama understands, and number two, we're going to become, everyone who attends the class is already knowledgeable from the background that we've learned up until that point. And hopefully every year or every day, we learn a little bit more and we understand it a little bit more. And not just our neshama will get it, also our physical bodies and our minds. Right? More or less. Or less. Have a good day, everyone.